Okay, we're going to look at some of the things that affect web performance. You probably already realised that there are various bits to this that will determine just how fast your website's going to operate. It could be factors that revolve around your browser, in other words, how big the JavaScript is that you're running and the speed of a local machine. It could be factors around the server, for instance, how fast it can dish up these pages, what its workload's like, how big the PHP scripts are, and so forth. And also it could be it could involve basically how fast the bit of wet string is between you and the server and back again. What we're going to look at here is the impact of loading parts of the page in advance. So here is my blank template, and you can see this little bit of JavaScript I've got in here, and this basically what I've done is chop the menu, the top bar and footer into separate bits of HTML, simply because once I've loaded those I probably don't need to load them again. So if you look at menu, the menu basically stays just as it is. I don't need to mess with that again. There's the top bar, I don't need to change that. There's the footer, that probably stays the same from one page to another. So what I've got is this template set up, so those bits are loaded automatically, and then the actual web page itself will go into this center bit. That's how I basically constructed my site. Now, I haven't had a chance to change all of my web pages to this vertical menu thing, which is what your recent assignment was looking for, but I've done a couple of them. And what we're going to do is you're going to choose whatever your favourite browser is. I think for some bizarre reason I was using Internet Explorer, and the site doesn't show particularly well in Internet Explorer. But anyway, all browsers will save web pages to a local folder somewhere on your machine. Those web pages are saved, and you might it might take you a bit of googling to figure out where your particular browser is saving them. If it's Firefox or Google or Internet Explorer, various flavors of Internet Explorer, you have to do a bit of googling to find out where they are. On Internet Explorer, if I click on Tools, Internet Options, and if I look at browsing history, if I click Settings there, and then I can view the files, it should show me where are we? Here we go. There we are. There's the there are my internet files. That's where they're basically saved. And you can delete all these. If I just grab these, they're just temporary files. I just grab those. Excuse me. There we are. I've deleted my temporary files. Now if I go back to my web page, let's just close that down because I've got a file browser open here. If I go back to my web page, now if I hit F5 just so it reloads that page, let's have a look at what it has actually loaded into the temporary internet folder. If I F5 on my temporary internet files, I should be able to see favorites, view, where is it, refresh, back here. Wait until it loads. For some bizarre reason it's being incredibly slow. Right, I'm going to pause it for a second and find out why my... Oh, here we go. I was going to pause it and find out why my internet connection suddenly was acting incredibly slow. Now if I go back to my temporary internet folder, F5, I could see the files that it's loading. And you can sort of recognise the bits and bobs of your website here. There's my footer.html, topbar.html, menu.html. Those are bits that it's loaded here separately. There's some of the images that it's loaded. There's my style sheet for the menu, style sheet for my the things that are not in the menu, my website. And what we're going to look at over here is this column, last checked. And you see they're all came in at 11 minutes past 7. And what I'm going to have to sort of do this as stop go, because you're going to have to wait for the clock to actually click past a minute for me to show you the next page. Okay, my clock's just gone to 12 minutes past 7. If I go back to the website and if I don't know, click say contact, it's going to load the contact page, and it's loaded sort of the bits involved in the contact. If I look back at the temporary internet folder and click and press F5 for that, let's have a look at what it has loaded up. Now it's loaded contact.html, which you'd expect, but if you notice footer, top bar, and menu and the style sheets, they haven't changed. In other words, when the browser made the request to the server to go get that page, it didn't have to load the entire page back. It actually grabbed those little bits that we've sliced off. And if I typed a message in here, some sort of junk, and I set my website up so it redirects after an email, it redirects to a thank you page. Let's go have a look at the temporary internet folder, F5 on that, and we'll see, and I'll rank this by last checked. Here we are. So it's gone to the thanks.html, which is the thank you page, and it loaded there was an image I had on that page as well. If I go back and show you, I've got an image here that it loaded as well. But if you look at all the other stuff, see how none of this stuff has changed here. So the second time it came, the second time it looks at these pages, it doesn't have to load all this stuff again because we sliced it all up into little bits. So once they are loaded, they basically don't have to be topped up again. Now that gives you a problem if you're developing the site, because you might be changing some of these bits here, and you want to know what the effect is. So to get around that, what you've got to do is basically you've got to instead of just hitting F5 to refresh your website, you've got to hit Control F5 to refresh it, and you should be able to then see the effects in your browser. So you can see now there's a whole bunch of things that have updated here. These are now 9.14, 9.14, 9.14, and yet some haven't. Menu, top bar and footer, they haven't changed. So there are some ramifications if you're developing a website, but it should save you a tremendous amount of download time once your website's up and running. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to leave you to this, what we're going to explore today. You're going to, first of all, you're going to slice your website up into bits. So you've got menu, top bar, footer, maybe banner section, however you want to set up your website. And then what I want you to do is stick into each of those a really big image, like about a 3 or 4 meg kind of size of image, and then upload it to the server. And then we're going to have a look at downloading it. We're going to have a look at some of these times here, because you need to get your head around sort of performance characteristics, and this is exactly the area that we're looking at now, the sort of times that you get for downloading a website in its entirety versus times that you'll get if you slice your website up into bits like this: footer, top bar and menu. So I'll show you here. You can see my top bar. I put I found an image of a big pig, and I have artificially made it smaller by just compressing its width, but it is a big image. You'll see it's like a couple hundred K inside size. Same with the footer. I found an image here, contact.jpg, and I squished that down as well so it wouldn't completely wreck the whole site. And then the menu as well. This is something preloaded. Just at the top of the menu there, I found a menu JPEG that's a really big image, and I've squished it down to 120 pixel size, and uploaded those to the server. So basically, when I load the web page, you can see this is this pig, and I've squished it down, but it's a pretty big image. There's my menu image, and there's my sort of contact image at the bottom. So if I look at the temporary internet files here, and if I delete these temporary internet files like this, so that when I go back to the web page, when I hit refresh now, when I hit F5, you'll see it will pause for a second as to go and download those images. So if I hit F5 now, you'll see it's done the page, then the images come down. They're a second or so slower in time. And if I go back to temporary internet temporary internet files folder and hit F5, you'll see that's what it's had to download the second time. Now they came down at 1933. If I just wait for the clock to tick over, and I'll go on to another page, you'll see the whole bunch of this. It doesn't download a second time. Just give that a second. Okay, so if I go back onto the web page, and if I now select contact, great, got the washing machine firing up behind me there, you'll see that the images they appear pretty well instantaneously. And if I go and look at the temporary internet files, hit F5, you'll see that the new image that it's found, where are we, is this one. It is this one here, contact.html. That's the only new one. All the others were already downloaded. So this does have performance implications in terms of the speed of your website. That's what you're going to explore today.